Hi everyone, my name is Lane Warrington. I hope you all are doing well and wrapping up the end of this course nicely. Here is my conceptual leadership model presentation. So before I dive in, I'd like to share a little bit about myself and provide some of the insight into the aspects of my life that have influenced my leadership framework or ideology and just some things I enjoy. So for my undergrad degree, I received a Bachelor's of Science in Applied Physiology and Sport Management from SMU in Dallas. And then this last January, I moved to St. Louis to begin my master's in leadership and organizational development. So I'm in my second year here. Other than that, I played 4 years of college soccer at SMU before I used my COVID year here at SLU this last year. And otherwise, I just enjoy traveling. The middle picture is from a recent trip to San Francisco, and the far right picture is from Denali National Park in Alaska this last summer. And I currently live with my girlfriend Maddie and our dog Indy. So, what does leadership mean to me? I took a little bit of inspiration from the Sun article, I hope I'm saying that right, titled The Trouble with Leadership Theories. He kind of decided to give a breakdown of what he feels his leadership role is at his current organization, and I decided to do the same. And I said, while leadership theories, practices, and definitions can be muddled by buzzwords and corporate jargon, modern leadership is something that requires a unique perspective. It appears everyone wants to be a leader within their organization, yet they fail to take accountability for the outcomes associated with such a commitment. In a rapidly changing environment, the most effective leaders stop to not only assess the actions of others, but to contemplate their own decision-making ability. Is this going to benefit everyone involved? What are the drawbacks? Is this sustainable long-term? How can I leverage my own leadership strengths to get the most out of others? These are the questions that must be answered yet are often discarded. Thus, the mark of an effective leader is not what they achieve individually, but how they can go about cultivating an environment within which others can flourish. Gill presents an overarching holistic vision of leadership, which contain the 6 core elements of leadership. These core elements include vision, purpose, shared values, strategy, empowerment, and engagement, and this presentation will touch on all 6 of those. First up is vision and mission. Mission is a sense of fundamental purpose, as Dr. Walker states. A good mission statement answers the questions of what, who, and why. On the other hand, vision defines what or where the organization wants or needs to be. Vision appeals to our desires and motivations, and as Dr. Walker states, without a vision, we blindly wander from activity to activity. I like to think of vision as what Gill describes as the magnetic north or true north that gives us direction, while mission provides clarity as to who we are. Next up is purpose. Purpose is a practical way of putting one's vision into action. This differs from mission, vision, and goals as it looks to answer the questions of who are we, what do we do, and why do we exist. Mission, vision, and goals are often a precursor to this organizational purpose as they consider the future and what is to be obtained. Shared purpose is important because, as Gill states, an organization's shared sense of purpose is its identity and the golden thread to which its strategy should be aligned. Ultimately, I think purpose is also important in the leader-follower relationship because it provides a common ground of motivation. The next element is values. So what are they? Values are beliefs and principles that we use to evaluate the merit of people, events, and things. There are a lot of different types of values, including core values, aspirational values, accidental values, and permission to play values. Core values may be the most important of these because they are the values that we hold dear to our hearts and often play a large role in our identity. In the end, without values, there would be no parameters to set the boundaries for what is acceptable or unacceptable and what behaviors a leader or organization stands for. Values are unique to each individual, and often individuals are drawn to organizations that hold similar values to their own. Then there's strategy. Strategy is a specific pattern of actions and decisions that managers make using core competencies to achieve competitive advantage. Strategy can be prescriptive or descriptive in nature. Prescriptive strategy is more like a recipe and has the goal of improving performance, while descriptive strategy is more organic and is implemented with the goal of survival in mind. Ultimately, without a clear strategy, a lot of decisions can be left to chance. Just as I mentioned earlier, purpose, vision, and strategy are closely intertwined and can work together to provide direction to achieve goals. Then there's empowerment, which means giving people the tools and resources to do what needs to be done. There are several key forms of empowerment, including autonomy, control, input, job crafting, feedback, and flexibility. Empowerment sounds easy, but just as we saw with our case study in week 2, it can be difficult for leaders to let go and release control so that their followers have room to maneuver and make decisions for themselves. Finally, there's engagement. Engagement is the feeling of being engrossed in the work, excited about the work, and dedicated to performing the work well. Leaders can take two opposing positions when looking to engage others. The first being a position of power, which is authoritative and largely based on roles and responsibilities, and the other comes from inspiring others. By choosing to inspire others in order to create engagement, leaders are committing to using their speech, personality, and other intangibles to connect with their followers. Internal and external motivation also play a significant role in engagement because those that are fulfilled and stimulated by their work are more likely to be productive stewards of the organization. Daniel Pink sums this up perfectly in his TED Talk when he says, "If you're truly engaged in something, you get there under your own steam." Ultimately, talking about the various elements of leadership can only do so much. In the end, it's about the real-world interactions we have as leaders that help us whittle away at our own conceptual leadership model. With that said, I'd like to talk about my time with two organizations and leaders that I consider to be world-class. The first is Stadium Drop. Stadium Drop has a purpose to serve others and help protect moments. Sports and entertainment are all about sharing special moments, and the founder, Adam, never wanted his consumers to miss out on those. Adam describes himself as a servant leader and backs us up by performing tasks that most would consider under his pay grade. The other is SLU Soccer. As I said earlier, this last year I had the chance to join the SLU Soccer team for my last season, and throughout my time I learned a lot about leadership and even became a captain. During my time with the team, my leadership development stemmed from the head coach, Kevin Kalish, who had a vision that was driven by the power of team, cultivating an environment of empowerment, and the hedgehog concept. The hedgehog, which looks to answer the question of what can we be the best in the world at, ultimately fueled much of our team's success. A lot of times throughout the season, I wouldn't consider us to be the most talented or the best team, but we ended up winning a lot because we knew what our core competencies were. Although they both contributed to my leadership development journey in unique ways, the main takeaway that I had is that having clarity as to what your vision, mission, and purpose is can take you a long way. Having the confidence in yourself and what you provide as a leader will then give you the ability to put forth a strategy that motivates, empowers, and engages others with the same vigor. Thank you all very much, and good luck the rest of the way.